Okay, so we have Karen Bentley, and I hear she's here. So get ready, Karen. She's the CEO and founder of Strategy and Ops Advising, an executive coach. Bentley Consulting Group empowers organizations and individuals to unlock potential through executive coaching and strategic advisory services. As CEO, with over 7 years leading the firm, collaboration has been key to developing tailored strategies that foster growth, enhance operational effectiveness, and support senior leaders in achieving their objectives. Please, Karen, go ahead and introduce yourself, and then, as the custom of this group, share one piece of insider knowledge that many job seekers might not be aware of, but would find incredibly helpful in their job search. You have the floor, Karen.
Excellent. Well, good afternoon. You can hear me okay?
Yes.
Excellent. Very good. Well, thank you so much for having me. It is Friday afternoon, and for those of you on the call, I'm sure it has been an exhausting week for you. I've been in job search mode myself many times, and I know how taxing, not only physically, but maybe even more so emotionally, that process can be. So happy Friday. I hope you do something fun this weekend. One piece of advice, boy, I'm sure you all have received a whole lot of advice, but I think I'll just tie it into some things I'd like to share with you today. And it really is just stick with it, stay with it, lean into it. And I'm sure, as Ken can attest, really sticking to the mission and finding tools that allow you to do that. So I'd like to just mention a few things. I think, how much time do I have? 5 minutes or so?
You've got 10 minutes.
10? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, I wanted to talk a little bit today about resilience. And, I've not been on calls previous to this, so I hope I'm not providing redundant information. But when I was really thinking about what bit of advice could I give this group in the context of job search, based on my experience, what would it be? I'm sure that you all have received a lot of really great kind of nuts and bolts best practices for how to conduct a job search. So I wanted to take it up to a bit of a higher level and talk about resilience, because I think resilience at the end of the day is so central to the efficacy of our job search. And also, just in a broader context, how we show up in the job search, how we show up to our friends and family through that process, and how we get to the other side of that whole, if you will. So there are four components that I really, I'm a very practical person. There's a lot of theory out there about resilience and job search, but I tend to be, I'm a Montana girl. I was born and raised out there, so maybe that's the practical bones I have in my body. So that's what I'm going to share with you today. The four components that I lean into relative to resilience are mindset, friends and family, movement, and I mean literal movement, and then the last is structure. And those aren't necessarily in priority order, because I think they're all important and they all work together. But when I was thinking about this, and I posted this as a blog on my LinkedIn page, so you can find the content there. But I started with mindset, and I call this the checkup from the neck up. And I'm sure most of you have heard that phrase before. But what does that really mean? Are we checking in with, with our thought life, and what is our worldview? What is our perspective as we look at our job search and as we enter the new day or the new week in our job search? Are we optimistic about the future? Not generally speaking, but about our life and our future. Are we aware of our attitudes and beliefs? Do we understand, and this is key, I do a fair bit of career coaching. I didn't set out on that trajectory in my consulting practice, but I really have kind of fallen into doing quite a bit of that. And one of the key things I do with my clients from the get-go is really dig into what are their values, their career values in particular, in the context of a job search. So do we really have clarity on what are our career values? What do we tolerate? What will we tolerate? What won't we tolerate? What's important to me? Really kind of doing that kind of deep dive personally and internally about what our professional values. And I think this is another component here that I think maybe often gets overlooked is, do we give ourselves grace in our challenges, or do we beat ourselves up, right? Do we allow ourselves to make a mistake and learn from the mistake? And is there personal grace that we give ourselves in that? And so the reason I spend a bit of time on mindset is it really has pretty broad application in how we show up, like I said earlier, not only to our friends and family, but even in our written documents, right? In the cover letters we write, in the thank you notes we write, in the interviews we have, how our mind is set and the posture of our mind really shows through in all of our various communications. So I think that is a nugget to really hang on to and consider. And again, that checkup from the neck up. And however you can get centered in that, I would really encourage you to do that, whether it's prayer, whether it's meditation, whatever it is, but build that into your daily routine. The next is family and friends. This is also known as a support system that we wrap around ourselves. And I call this our lifeline. I'm sure and I'm hopeful that most everyone, if not everyone on this call, has someone really, really important to them in their lives that they can be open and honest and transparent with. I think we all need that because they will reflect back to us and hopefully be honest back with us to help us get better and maybe help us pivot and course correct. And very importantly, to support us as we go through this transition. So that's very, very important. And then the third one is movement. And I said at the top of my time here that I meant this as a literal word. So movement. Are you moving? Are you exercising? Are you and Ken, I think you had mentioned volunteering, and I think that's part of it. You know, that allows you to be out there and moving and engaging. And through that, you build your social networks. I think that networking component is huge and a natural byproduct of that movement and getting out. Just a little personal note, yoga has been my movement in one job search. And of course, the whole world's playing pickleball, maybe not the whole world, but a lot. So that's kind of been my go-to for movement recently. And there are many, many benefits of movement. So, in the scientific data out there supporting movement and physical activity and the physiological benefits of that as it relates to mood and emotional and mental health is really deep. So, not just my opinion, but there's a lot of really good science to support activity. And it doesn't have to be rigorous workout every day. It's doing something you enjoy that gets you out of your seat, outdoors, hopefully, and getting your heart rate up and getting some oxygen going. The last one is structure, and this gets more to the nuts and bolts of the job search. I think most of you that have been on this call before have had a fair bit of coaching and collaborating around what does structure look like. It really is as basic as creating a formal system where you track your job search. So you know who you've reached out to, what the response has been, and any follow-up that's needed. I'm a simple kind of gal. I use an Excel spreadsheet. Excel may be a little passé now, but maybe I'm old school, and that's what I use. It works for me, and I guess that's the point. Use what works for you. And then also, I think also maintaining a daily routine. I know when you've had a career and you've had a set routine that's dictated by the context of that career, when that goes away, it's very easy for your daily routine to go away as well. So I would encourage everyone as best you can to maintain a consistent daily routine throughout your weekdays. And I think that will help you structure your time. And it also will help you build in, like I said, some movement, some socialization, and maybe even some volunteer time along the way. And then finally, if you have have the desire and have the means, there are a slew of career coaches out there, and there's great content. This is one, I think this is a brilliant concept here, what we're doing, but there's a lot of great content out there about career and job search that wasn't there even 5 or 10 years ago. So that's really been a blessing to see over the last short period of time, is really this growth in just excellent content for those of us that are in career transition to avail ourselves of. So those are really my 4 nuggets for you, really all under the topic of resilience. This is my personal journey, how I have developed my resilience over the course of a very, very long career. And it's never perfect. There's bumps and bruises along the way, and we learn what works, and we benefit from building that resilience muscle along the way. So that's what I have for you today. I see it's 4:29, so I think I took more than 10 minutes. I hope I didn't cut you too short from other business that you need to do, but I appreciate the opportunity to join you all today.
No, that was great. Thank you. I like the checkup from the neck up. So I've heard that before, but it's been a while. So why don't we take a couple questions? I know we're at the bottom of the hour, but